Three, two, one. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and I got a real problem with this cover. A real problem. This is Decorum, issue number 2. I've had this for a while. This is one of the first comics that came back when, comics came back. Now, my problem with this cover isn't anything to do with the art. It's I actually really like the art. I really like the composition that draws my eye. I go, ooh, I'm very interested in this book. It's got kind of a Clint Eastwood, Man with No Name sort of feel kind of going on, fistful of dollars. And yeah, it's actually, I enjoy the cover more than the issue number 1. The problem with this cover is it doesn't happen in the book. Well, rather, it doesn't happen in the book. Let's get on to this. So, this is Decorum by Jonathan Hickman, art by Mike Huddleston, and you don't care about other credits. Although, here's all the image guys. Got to make sure they all get their credits here. 2 freaking pages of this shit. Let's see, how many pages? Yeah. Look, this is the same crap that Hickman does over at his X-Men. I'm starting to think this dude's is full of himself. 2 full pages. This is so unnecessary. This is such wasted real estate. I get it. You're a big pompous guy and you want a pretentious book. I guess you're going to have it. Oh, look, 2 more full freaking pages. This is a 2-page spread. 4 pages so far. Boom, boom. Just so, oh, look at our awesome piece of work. And then a 5th page before you've even got into comic. This is a comic book. Not if this were a novel, I'd be okay. I'd be used to that. It's kind of the norm. You've got hundreds, sometimes over 1,000 pages you're going to read it next. This is a comic book, not a giant-sized comic book, just a normal comic book. And the machine love of religion. Oh, look at that, a 6-page. Chapter 4. You couldn't put chapter... Page 7. Here we are, page 7. The ship of the celestial mothers, drifting through space and time. Make sure, before you read this book, that you smoke up. I think that's what this book is all about. Like, you just, oh man, you're gonna read about the ship of celestial mothers drifting through space and time, man. Wow, Jonathan Hickman is a trip. Finally, on page 8, we start, and there's a big egg. And we get to these celestial mother characters, and they're talking about, can't wait for the egg. We've waited too much time, and something's coming after them. They're hiding. This book was extremely hard to understand. I still don't really think I got it, to tell you the truth. I would read and then flip back a couple pages and then reread and get to a point and go, I'm a little confused, flip back a couple pages, reread. I took my time. By the way, if you're going to read Decorum at all, this is not a book you can blast through. You got to read panel to panel and digest it. This is, I don't know if I would call this hard sci-fi. It's hard Hickman, I guess. This is just him being his most confusing self. And so they eventually decide they need to hatch the egg early, so they break it, and this blood thing opens, and they're at this place called the Singularity Watchtower. it's kind of confusing, and we get to this character. Now, this is going to be a point where you as a reader, or a potential reader perhaps, are going to make or break you. You're going to look at this and go, paying how much for what? Yeah, this is a guy. This is a character that has no legs. He's literally a chess piece. Now, some of you might be like, no, Ash, man, that's the brilliance of it, man. It's a chess piece. Because Hickman is meaning that we're all just pawns in the greater game of life. Okay, man, maybe. But it's still just a chess piece. It literally has no moving parts. You're not sure what's going on. Okay, it goes into this little thing, and lightning happens, and then it teleports across the galaxy somewhere, I guess. And then reappears, and it's this character that we saw in the last issue. And this exchange happens, and he's like, yes, I bring good news, Rochi. We detected a small breach. Not enough to locate, but enough to spoil the space. You're sure? Yes. And then crack! He just smashes him. And there he is. It's on the ground. Look, I told you, no moving parts. He's just a chess piece. And then Rochi goes down, picks up his head. Can you hear me, God? Are you listening? And this art is, like I said, it's going to break some people and be like, what the fuck am I, what? And then we get to this art. And this is one of the weird things about Decorum is how the art changes. And some people have said, it's on purpose. Well, I get that it's on purpose. But I can't make heads or tails of what the purpose is. It feels kind of random. I get that it's not. I feel like different character groups and different parts of the story are assigned different art. But what the hell is this? What is this? Drink this panel in. Space and time collapse before me, but I see you, Chi. Does it trouble you that you are not there in many of my futures? Do you still believe, Chi? Do you remain faithful? I am nothing if not faithful. For who but the faithful would be rewarded with bringing you the one thing in all the universe that you desire? You have the egg. And so, hey, there was an egg before. Oh, I'm following this. Oh, there's a story. I'm following it. Not yet, but it has made itself known to us, and we will have it soon. I cannot be denied. So I guess it seems so far we're setting up the antagonist of the story, and we're setting up a sort of MacGuffin, this egg thing. These sisters, okay, this is world building. This is what Hickman does. He's world builds. These pages are, look at this. Oh, you're just like, what the? Oh, yeah, look, another white page. What does this now make? 8, 9, 10. And then we go, and look how the art just drastically changes. You're like, oh, hey, this is kind of beautiful. Holy shit, Huddleston can draw. And we see the assassin lady. She's returning home. Now, I'm not going to just go through this book. I will tell you, though, there's some interesting exchanges. And then this troubled me, too. So there's a discourse between the assassin. Apparently she has a husband. She's Mr. and Mrs. Morley. And they're just having a cup of tea. It's all very nice. It's decorum. It's part of the theme of this book. And then it goes to this, where it's like, it's just text. And then more text. And then the story carries over. It's almost like, oh, we didn't get the artist to draw these 2 pages, so we just wrote the text in. There is artistic design, and then there's pretension. Sometimes you do things for merit and they work. Like these white pages I've actually defended. They have some purpose. But This is borderline, if not pretentious. But still, I'm not disinterested in the story. I'm still like, I'm saying, I'm getting to the point where let me go back a few pages, read it again. If the book was bad, I wouldn't even be wasting my time. So where were we on the pages? I think I said, so it was 8, 9, 10, and then 11, 12, 13. And so here we get to what I talked about. Remember I said about the cover? Here it is. This is why the cover of this book is here. Look, there's a dude in the crowd. He's wearing a poncho. Oh, look, here's the guy. They're going to throw down, aren't they? Oh, they're going to be shoot out of high noon. Nope. It's beep doop beep. Oh, there's someone talking up in the skyscraper, and it's the assassin lady with the doctor, and she's making this deal. And we go back, and that's it. We never go back to that scene ever. There's no shoot out of high noon. It's bullshit. And so remember the little courier girl? She's talking, and she's making this deal. He's got these people in these tubes. I guess they're keeping him in hibernation or something. It's not real clear because Hickman is always really cryptic in his writing. He just gives you a little bit of a peek at something and says, oh, that's enough. I'm going to keep writing a bunch of other stuff. I just gave you a little peek, a little taste, whet your palate. You got to read the next issue to get another little peek. And so we go on. And again, the art is good. When this coloring really enhances the art. I can't stand when it's the bland two-tone. You get to hear and you're like, oh, this pops. I like this. I'm interested about Courier Girl because she was the best part of the previous book, but she hardly gets any point in this. What's this? 14, 15, 16. And then we go back to the singularity thing. It's loose. And the egg is hatching and things are coming out and they're like, oh no, it's too soon. So they got to stop it. This arm is coming out. Okay, so it's some sort of humanoid thing, that attacks one of the girls. Ack, hurry, even if it's in its unfinished state, it will be stronger than we could ever imagine. The egg is compromised. Seal it tight. We won't get another chance. And so they start doing this ritual thing, blah, 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 and they seal it with crystals, because that's what a bunch of New Age women would do. And they're like, how many times have we done this now? Over 6,000. Okay, this is happening for who knows how long. 6,000 times, though. It's got to be a long time. And then they're like, oh, it's so many years. 100,000. I'm not sure I have another left in me. You said that several hundred times ago. Yes, but this time, I mean it. Another white page. And then we get next issue, Decorum issue 3. Things get weird. Things get weird? This book has been nothing but weird. But I do like this cover. I'm like, ooh, it's like Captain Super Diversity Guy, bro. Or is that chick? I don't want to assume it's identity. But that's what that reminds me of, that image. Fighting walrus panther person. I like the cool little airship in the background. It's cool. Look. And then I'm like, wait, Ash, don't get stuck in the trap. Don't get in a trap. Because the last issue, you're like, oh, look at that cover. I can't wait to see what happens. And then you didn't get it. That's kind of bullshit. So, look, I am still interested in this book. I'm going to keep reading this book. It is really weird. I'm like crossing my fingers. I loved House of X and Powers of X. That book made me a fan of Hickman, seeing what he could do. No one in comics can, or maybe has ever done what he did, for me at least, in that book. That book was astounding in so many ways. It made my brain pop. And in comics, for you to do that, a great sci-fi author, great sci-fi novels, they can do that. I've even seen that in movies. But in a comic book, wow. I'm going to hold on. I didn't like House of X and Powers of X for the first 2 issues. But I'm glad I waited till issue 3 where it grabbed me. And I understand sometimes a comic book takes a few issues, especially when you're writing long format like modern times. I'm going to hold on for this. I'm going to give it probably at least 6 issues to grab me. This is not Dawn of X. Dawn of X is dog shit. I do not understand how Hickman, the guy who wrote House of X, Powers of X, is the same guy that's architecting, is that a word? Is being the architect of one of the most atrocious comic sub-imprint group, whatever you call X-Men in the Marvel Universe. Like, it's just, ugh. It's disgusting. It just utterly disgusting. It's repulsive. It's vile, and I hate it. But this is not that. This reminds me of House of X and Powers of X, and much of the intelligence and the thought behind what's going on. I can tell that Hickman's got a big idea that he's going to try to put. I don't get that in X-Men at all. What I get in X-Men is that he's doing the world's biggest troll on Marvel. You know, when I see him tweet on Twitter and he's like, I'm really trying to get fired. At first I thought that was just him being, facetious. And now I'm like, I think he might actually be. Like, I think he might just be like, fuck these Marvel guys. They think I'm doing something great. I'm just pulling shit out of my ass every month. And they're like licking it up. So this is Decorum 3. Take it what you will. I'm going to end this now. What did you think about it? I'm going to give this a mild recommend. If you are a Hickman guy, you're probably going to be reading this. It's, like I said, it's not terrible, but it's weird. Be prepared. I'm trying to just set the stage for you. I'm going to keep reading it because I see potential. I do. I also see this thing being able to go off the rails. This is not a book that you're going to just jump in on issue 2. You need to get issue number 1 first. And then even then, this is going to be weird because this barely relates to issue number 1. So mild recommend, 3 stars. And it's because some of it is like fascinating and great, and some of it is just like, what the F? It's really hard to review this book. So thanks for watching.